Welcome back to Season 3 of the Water Online Show, powered by Water Online, the leading online destination for the water wastewater market. I am your host, Travis Kennedy, and we have a very interesting show here today. I'm flying without my co-host, Kevin Westerling. He typically doesn't join me on these types of episodes, but this one's really special, and I'm kind of wishing that Kevin was here. The reason for that is there's been a lot of talk over the past, 6 months, a year, 3 years, however far back you want to go, about what are the current issues and hot topics in the water and wastewater industry. And it could be anything from LCRI or PFAS or BABA or a number of different things. There has been one thing that has consistently come up that leans into the future of water. So a lot of what we're talking about here today is going to lend itself to that, to looking forward. So, and historically, when we talk about things like perhaps PFAS or LCRI, it's about solutions for problems that had existed previously. What we're going to be talking about today as it relates to this particular aspect of digital transformation and how that's affecting the industry is affecting how some municipalities have themselves in a bit of a predicament where they might be exposed to certain things that could harm not just the municipality itself, but also the constituents in which they serve. So the topic that I'm alluding to and dancing around is cybersecurity. Big topic. A lot of the reason why it's such a big topic is because we have so much to learn. So much to learn about where those exposure areas are within a municipality for every segment of the plant. So it could be in your, you could have exposure at the pump level. You could have exposure at the tank level, or even within the SCADA system that you currently have. So the dangers are kind of lurking at every aspect of the process, which is why it's so important that we talk about this. So we have a subject matter expert joining us today, and I want to go ahead and bring him in. So we're going to be talking a lot about cybersecurity and some of the solutions that are now coming out from industry leaders and market leaders within water and wastewater as to how, and we're going to talk about how that's being defended against, how it's being addressed, and how products are coming out with additional aspects and benefits to them, features to them that are going to be able to address concerns about cybersecurity. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome to the show Spencer Mack, Regional Product Manager for Flygt Americas, part of Xylem. Spencer, thank you so much for joining us today.
Travis, I appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Well, I want to dive right in because I've been hearing a lot about a particular product and technology that is being offered to the industry as a whole. And that product is called the MultiSmart, powered by Nexicon. Curious about the inspiration for that. We touched in the beginning on cybersecurity, and I would like to get sort of mend that bridge a little bit and get an idea as to why we started talking about cybersecurity and then how it relates to this product. So what inspired the development of the MultiSmart powered by Nexicon, and in what ways does it build upon the legacy of the original MultiSmart to meet the evolving demands, especially related to digital transformation that currently exist in the modern wastewater management ecosystem?
Yeah, perfect. Great question, Travis. So, first off, I want to say MultiSmart powered by Nexicon, that's really our next evolution of our control platform. For years and years, we had our legacy MultiSmart that really made Flygt's and Xylem's name in the digital space. But now we're moving on. So we have over 120 years of wastewater experience and expertise, and we're trying to grow upon that legacy MultiSmart. So a couple of those things had intuitive control. We have our level probe that was only used in our MultiSmart devices, and plenty of pre-programmed functions that were part of the MultiSmart. But now we're adding this modular and cyber-secure twist to it. You brought up cybersecurity, many times, and I'm sure we're going to talk about it more and more, but it's something that is greatly developing. Back 10, 15 years ago, if you went out to any standard pump station, they're probably operating on relays and maybe a cellular alarm system. Well, now there's SCADA systems that are linking, full wide utilities that have remote control options or alarm capabilities that provides a lot larger risk than when you had, one cell phone and relays, controlling your pump station or your alarm system.
So, I mean, it's refreshing to hear, and this is happening more and more, but it's refreshing to hear that there's a company that's been around as long as Xylem has, as long as Flygt has, that is well recognized in the marketplace, that has an understanding as to what digital transformation can actually mean for the industry as a whole and where the gaps might be there. So when you're thinking about coming out with new products, with new features, it really needs to be thinking in the area of digital transformation. So the old way of thinking kind of can't really relate and be applicable when we're talking about the new water wastewater industry as it relates to specifically digital transformation in that aspect. So I am curious. I mean, as we're hearing more and more about utilities needing to enhance their cybersecurity, I mean, it's not something that a municipality can hide from. You can't kind of outrun it. It's going to be there. So every utility, every municipality needs to maybe not necessarily panic or necessarily be overtly worried about it and have it be the topic of discussion at every meeting, but it is something they're going to have to address. So how does the MultiSmart powered by Nexicon address the growing cybersecurity concerns that we face as an industry across the nation?
100%, Travis. So first, I do want to throw it out there. I am not a cybersecurity expert at all.
Oh, come on.
Xylem has a
more than me.
Fantastic cybersecurity team that is truly dedicated to making our products and especially our digital products as cybersecure as possible. At Xylem, we use this tagline, secure by design. That's our approach when we are designing our R&D process. And this includes like secure development processes, threat modeling, vulnerability testing, and ongoing monitoring. When we talk about regulations, and we were talking before, but the cybersecurity regulations are, especially in the water industry, are growing. There was not anything 5-10 years ago, and I'm sure there's going to be way more in 5 to 10 years past now. But what I do know is when we were developing the Nexicon, cybersecurity was our top priority. It was built to code ISA/IEC 62443. I'm sure you have that memorized.
Of course. I mean, I if you want me to define it for the audience, just let me know, but I'm going to let you go ahead and take it.
And more specifically, we have subcategory 4-2. This is a new standard in the cybersecurity world that's specifically for industrial controls and automation. So we have built to meet that spec, as well as we have, capabilities in place that if anything else were to come out through firmware or software upgrades, we are able to add in higher levels of protection. And that code is even more relevant now. I was actually just sent over to a colleague to me about a week or two ago where the governor of the state of New York just announced new cybersecurity standards for water infrastructure. There's not too many controllers or brands that have really taken on, especially with that IEC code, but that's what we're working for, and it kind of worked out perfectly with it. Utilities are now required to implement baseline protections, conduct risk assessments, and report incidents. Risk assessments is something that our Xylem cybersecurity team, our experts, are able to help with. And Nexicon helps utilize to stay ahead of these requirements with our multi-layered approach. So I'll leave kind of the technicals with the cybersecurity team. They can, spit out the 64223.
Sure.
I can probably say that Nexicon is built for utilities to stay secure and implement a rapidly evolving, industry.
And flexibility is important. So for, 150 years in this industry, as it relates to new technologies and new innovation, it seemed to not have to deal with a moving target, a better way to pump, a better way to filter, a better way to do something as part of the process. Digital transformation and cybersecurity falls under that umbrella is very different. So the problem is going to evolve as we go along, whether that's standards or whether that's municipalities facing increasing frequency of being hacked into. So the target's always moving. So there is something really to be said about not just coming out with something innovative related to cybersecurity and attaching it to a product, but just how important in your mind is it the fact that it's just flexible, right? You're anticipating and left it open to be able to react to whatever might be coming down the road in the near or perhaps even semi-distant future. So how important is that, do you think, to the market?
Yeah, I think modularity in itself, coming from our legacy MultiSmart system to MultiSmart powered by Nexicon, I think that the pure aspect of modularity is the biggest strength of Nexicon. Digital products, it's tough. My iPhone that I bought a year ago is already out of date. So we know that is going to be a constant in the digital world, but we need to be able to expand and adapt, especially for these municipalities that don't have this, endless budget. They have to work with what they need and adapt with their challenges. So MultiSmart powered by Nexicon is built to scale, whether you're a small rural utility or you're managing this large, city network. You can start with the basics that we have. So our basics for our MultiSmart powered by Nexicon is the application manager, which is kind of the brain. We have a power supply. All of that gets mounted to a backplane. Then you have your pump modules. So whether you have 2 or 3 pumps, just buy the correct amount of modules. But that's just kind of the base where we start. You can add on additional items. Like let's say you want to bring in a flow meter and we're out of analog IO. You can add an analog IO card or a digital IO card or even motor protection or redundancy modules to fully adapt to your specific needs.
It's true what you said. I mean, there's municipalities of all sizes and all different ability to pay the bills and pay for innovation. So across our experience here at Water Online, we've never come across an overfunded municipality. I don't know if Flygt has. I've never seen it. So if you do know of one, please let me know, because I'd like to know how they do that. But as it relates to scalability, I just want to stay there for a second before I move on. So what you're saying is that the MultiSmart powered by Nexicon, it can be applicable to a municipality that has 3 operators, and also be applicable to, say, the city of New York or the city of Dallas. Are we talking that we have that kind of adaptability?
Yeah, correct. And what how I've been saying is you pay for what you need. So each one of our modules is what we call it in the family, has specific functions. And let's say that rural town, they don't need to have extra levels of redundancy, or they're not worried about measuring their voltage and amperage of their pumps. So they're able to, adjust their pay scale for the exact functions that they're. So we can kind of go from that, bottom end all the way to the top end, but we're able to kind of stay within that singular platform or family.
There is some comfort, especially in today's society, regardless of industry, with the concept of made to order. It almost seems as if this technology can be classified as a made to order. So exactly what you need, exactly how you order it, we can accommodate. It isn't like a one size fits all. Do I have that right?
100%. We like to use the word plug and play.
Plug and play.
So, yeah, exactly what you need. You get that correct module and plug it in. The best part is, and this came from our legacy MultiSmart controllers, we have something called the setup wizard. So anytime that you're either starting up your pump station for the first time, or you're adding in a separate IO card, very easily within a couple of minutes and a couple of clicks through our touchscreen, you can have almost anybody set up that specific module for that specific function.
That's fantastic. I want to give you a chance to elaborate on something specific about the actual system itself. So within the system, there is something that you're calling the motor protection module. So I want to give you an opportunity to elaborate on the role of the motor protection module and how it enhances the performance, and perhaps most importantly, the reliability of the Nexicon system. What would you say about that?
100%. I would say so. Again, I hate to keep going back to legacy MultiSmart, but this is what we're built on and what we're evolving on. Our legacy MultiSmart had motor protection built into the singular platform. Up until very recently, we did not have that into the Nexicon. So we are ecstatic that we can launch. We're calling it the XMP, Xylem Motor Protection 811.
Okay.
And that is a part of the full Nexicon system. It's actually a 2-slot module that goes into that backplane that I discussed. And I would say it does 3 key things. So first, it analyzes power of your motor or your pump. So that's monitoring voltage and current across all 3 phases and alerting for issues like phase loss, imbalance, high voltage, low voltage, etc. You can set tolerances. So if you were ever to, if you're 460 and you get a 520 spike, that will alert you.
Right.
It performs insulation resistance testing. That's the second one. Some people call that megger testing, especially in the field. And that is measuring the degradation of the insulation of your stator. So same thing, you can do it on any count. We like to say once a week, once a month. And if it ever becomes below the tolerance that you're looking for, it will give you an alarm.
Yeah.
The third thing is it monitors the grid. I think I actually said this first one incorrect, but this is the line power that is coming from your boats.
Got it. Okay.
I live in the rural Northeast, and where our power is not always the most consistent. I would get calls, quite frequently saying, "Hey, our pump didn't start," or
Right.
something happened that shouldn't have happened. And if we did not have the motor protection module, we're kind of troubleshooting a little bit in the dark.
Yeah.
However, if we had the motor protection module, you can see that at 8 p.m., probably on Christmas Eve, that there was a large spike in your system or a drop in voltage, and that is why your pump didn't start. So it's a great way for like predictive maintenance. It will help you reduce downtime and extend the life of your pump greatly.
It almost seems like there's a twofold aspect to it. So the one is what you just mentioned, which is predictive maintenance, right? It's giving your customers the chance to go on offense versus defense. The other thing that strikes me is that it almost acts as an immediate alarm system for if something does go down, you are notified immediately. It's not as if you have to wait to see what would happen, and it takes an hour or two to realize that a pump is down. So immediacy of inaction of the actual pump or system, but also gives you the ability to go on offense and predict that, hey, this may not be stop working now. It may break in a week or a month or whatever, but we're telling you right now, based on the data coming through the system that you have, that we're going to be able to predict that you're going to need to get it fixed now before it goes down and causes more problems than you need. So do I have that right? It almost acts as both of those sort of insurance policy.
Of redundancy in our eyes. I mean, this predictive maintenance is something that we're growing all of our digital platforms for. We want to make sure that you at least are alarmed, whether you act upon it or not, that you're not having that downtime because you can plan out whether it's a repair or it needs a replacement. That can happen before it's Christmas Eve at midnight. You're down on one pump and your level is coming up and you don't know what else to do. So we are trying to limit as many of those, large expenditures that these towns are going to have from overflows and stuff like that through some of this predictive maintenance.
I mean, it's music to the ears of every plant operator, plant manager, and engineer and operator that works in municipalities across the country, right? So help us go on offense. Let us know that, and give us some comfort that we're not going to get that call at 11:30 at night on Christmas Eve. So I think I can confidently speak for the audience and our engineers and operators that are out there listening and watching that is welcome news. So, and the fact that it's now built into the fabric of what Xylem is doing across all of their brands and the products and technologies that are going to be coming out in the future, both near and far, are going to be keeping that in mind and incorporating a lot of those corrective measures into the aspects of their products is fantastic news. Spencer, how would somebody get in touch with you, or whomever they would need to get in touch with to learn more about this?
That's a great question. And one of the best things is we have a great sales direct and distribution network. Mm-hmm. I would probably say we have a rep locator online. If you are looking for that should point you, whether it's one of our, great distributor partners that cover about 50% of our territory, or if it's one of our direct offices. On the Xylem website, we have a rep locator that will be able to point you into the exact direction. If you want to reach out to me directly, I would say look me up on LinkedIn or give me a chat, and we can definitely put you in the right directions, whether you're looking for more specific details on cybersecurity, or maybe like the best way to retrofit MultiSmart powered by Nexicon and one into your existing control panels.
MultiSmart powered by Nexicon. That is the tomorrow. You can get it today. So if you're out there worried about or thinking about, or might even be just introduced to the concept of cybersecurity and just how important it is, we certainly hope that we covered a lot of the basics here for you, specifically and directly relating to the MultiSmart powered by Nexicon. Spencer Mack, thank you very much for joining us here today.
Travis, I appreciate it. Hopefully we can do this again one day soon.
I can't wait to have you back. And for all of you out there watching, listening, we want to thank you for spending your time here with us, and we will see you next time here at the Water Online Show.